Hi there, Mishigill with Speedwell Law. I'm commenting today on the situation regarding late great actor Gene Hackman's estate. It was discovered recently that Mr. Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa were found dead in their New Mexico home after a wellness check. Now, Mr. Hackman had been in poor health. He suffered from Alzheimer's disease, and the cause of his death was found to be cardiovascular and also with the complicating factor of Alzheimer's. Interestingly, Ms. Arakawa turns out to have died from Hantavirus, which is a disease that is typically transmitted to humans through rodents. And that speaks to me of the isolation of the couple. They were a very private couple and they preferred it that way. And what I'm, as an elder law attorney, am deducing from this situation is that Gene was the spouse that was receiving care and Betsy was the spouse that was providing that care. That was probably a good, stable situation for a number of years, but when Betsy started to encounter deficits, as we call them, then the situation would have changed. And if Betsy started to experience deficits, cognitive deficits of her own, then food preparation and hygiene might have started to become less managed. And that's probably where the rodents come into play and how Miss Arakawa, how Betsy might have contracted Hantavirus. Now, of course, this is speculation and we don't know what actually happened and may never know the truth of the matter because they were discovered like 30 days after they died or something like that. You know, this is all speculation, so please take it with a grain of salt. But that speaks to me of what is an extremely common outcome for elderly folks is that the isolation is what gets you. There's a lot of different ways that isolation is really bad for humans. We're social creatures. We're meant to be with other humans. Late in life, isolation is a real killer. This is a pretty unique and novel way for someone to pass away from their old age deficits. Nonetheless, it isn't all that surprising. Now, there's a lot of speculation about who's going to inherit Mr. Hackman's $80 million estate. The couple named each other as the beneficiaries of each other's estate, but they died within a week of each other. In most cases where there is a will or a trust, survival by 30 days is typically required, and in Miss Arakawa's case, we know that 90 days survival was required for Mr. Hackman to take her estate, and her estate is going to pass to the charitable beneficiaries in the way that's articulated in her will. Now, Mr. Hackman's estate, which is probably the larger estate, is not going to pass to Betsy because Betsy predeceased him, and instead is going to pass to his living trust. And that's why we're never going to know who inherits Mr. Hackman's estate. The living trust will operate as a private vehicle for the transfer of that wealth to Mr. Hackman's intended beneficiaries, whoever they are. That privacy is one of the main features that people are looking for when they establish trusts. And so it would typically not be something that we would find out. Now, the only way that we end up finding out here is if there's some sort of leak to the press. Now, that's not a desirable outcome either. That's an undignified outcome. Mr. Hackman would not have wanted it, and we should not hope for that outcome. In fact, we should hope that the dignity of the family is maintained and that the privacy of Mr. Hackman is maintained, because that's what the dignified outcome would be. In certain cases, I've written into trusts penalties for people that disclose information that the trustor would not have wanted disclosed. That's something you can do, but obviously it's a very persnickety, tricky thing to prove. In any case, I don't think that we're ever going to know the truth of the matter about the circumstances of their death, and I think it's extremely unlikely that we ever find out who the beneficiaries of Mr. Hackman's estate are, and that's probably for the best. Now, if you're looking for the same kind of privacy, don't hesitate to reach out to us at Speedwell Law. We'd love to help you with your own estate planning. We're licensed in Virginia and Maryland. Thanks. Have a great day.